will be discussing about Indian economy. Now, before I go into the syllabus and before I go into what are the topics that we need to study, first you need to know the importance of this subject. Like history, polity, geography, economy, subject that anyone needs to learn in order to clear prelims exam. In order to learn, in the sense, this is one of the basic subject, because round about your 12 to 14, 15 questions will come in prelims. Okay. In mains, round about 150 to 200 marks question is asked, because this is in your mains, it is tested in two different papers. GS3 plus essay paper. Here we are not concerned with mains because this is only prelim specific syllabus. So in prelims, 12 to 15 questions will be asked from Indian economy. So this is one of the very basic subject. If you do not master this subject, if you do not learn it well, then it will be very difficult for you to crack the exam. Okay? Because as I told earlier also, nobody makes any mistake in basic subjects. Whether it is history, whether it is polity, whether it is economy. In this four areas, this combined these four areas, around about 50 questions will come. Okay, minimum. And nobody makes mistake in this 50 question. So anyone who is serious about his exam and anyone who is serious about clearing this exam, they make sure that they do not make any mistake, whether analytical wise or by any method. They will never make any mistake in history, polity, economy and geography question. And I can assure you, if you do, if you cover this class lectures and study notes properly, you will definitely clear the exam. Because in order to clear the exam, this is the most basic requirement, that you master this four subject. Point is, first of all, you will get 50 questions for sure in prelims from these four areas. And apart from this, they have limited syllabus. Limited syllabus in the sense, see, your syllabus is very wide. Okay, no exhaustive list is given, but there are few areas on them. Like in each subject, there are 20 to 30 chapters that you need to study well. If you go through those 20 chapters well, then you can easily correct or you can answer this 50 question. So point is, this list is limited. If you compare it with the current affairs or other areas, they are so wide and the syllabus is so vague that no matter how much you study, you can still make mistake, or it may be possibility that you do not know the answer or you have not read that particular topic. But here, round about each subject, if you cover those 20 subjects, you can easily answer this 50 questions. So as a result, if you master this four subject, it will be easy for you to clear prelims. And if you master this, you will definitely clear, because all the serious students make sure they do not make any mistake in this area. So like them, you can also not afford to make any mistake in economic questions. If you have to clear prelims, you have to make sure that you understand Indian economy very well. Just a moment. Now, what are the areas that we will study in Indian economy? So first, see, first thing you understand, your syllabus is economy and not economics. This is the confusion most students have. Okay, so please be sure your syllabus is economy. It is not economics. Economics is all about theory. Theory related to demand, different kind of theory related to money supply, different kind of theory related to supply, different kind of theory related to formation of banks, international trade, monetary policy, fiscal policy. We do not need to study these theories at all. What we need to study is economy. Okay, we do not have to study economics. First, be very clear about this in your mind, that your subject matter, whether it is prelims or mains, it is economy, not economics. Economy also Indian economy. To understand Indian economy. Now, if you have understood that, okay, economics is not our syllabus, then you will ask me, so what is our syllabus, or what do you mean by Indian economy? Now, Indian economy or economy basically means theory in practice. Theory in practice. There are various theories that are there in economics. We are not going to study that. What we are going to study is application of these theories in Indian context, because economics in practice, when you put that theory into a practice, then what we study is called economy. So if you put this theory in Indian context, then we will study about Indian economy. If you put it in Asian context, we will study Asian economy. If you put it in context of developed nation, we will study developed economies. If you put it in context of emerging nation, we will study emerging economy. So point is, we are not going to study economics, we are going to study economy, and economy is about all the economic theories put in practice, and then we will of it how this economy is functioning. Okay, we are not going to study this theory. Yes, we will take help from economics and we will study some of the areas of economics, but they are only those areas which are restricted to our syllabus, or only those areas in which you need some clarity to understand the concept of economy. Apart from that, do not get confused with the subject. Your subject is not economics at all. You have to study Indian economy. So here what you will study what was the situation. You will study pre-independent economy, but here you will start understanding economy from 1947. So how our economy evolved after 1947. So here you will understand about evolution of economy. Then from 1947 to 1991, our economy was mostly closed economy. So you will understand what is the meaning of closed economy, or why our economy was a closed one. Why it is said that after 1991 we started opening up our economy, and relatively today our economy is much open. So major reforms took place in 1991. So we will study what were these reforms in 1991, where these reforms were made by the democratically elected government, or whether it was specifically made by the Indian economists, or this were something which was forced upon us. When I will come there, then I will discuss that these reforms were forced upon us by IMF, International Monetary Fund. Okay, we were facing balance of payment crisis, that is, we do not had enough foreign exchange expenses. As a result, they imposed some of the reforms upon us. So we will see that what situation led to the BOP crisis, why we faced BOP crisis, then why we went to IMF for help, what were the conditions that they imposed, and because of those conditions how reforms took place in India. After this, we will study about what are the different sectors that are present in any economy, whether it is India, Asia or America, any economy. So what are the different sectors that are present in an economy? After that, we will see what are the different types of economy. So when you compare America and China, you are sure that both lies in the extreme end. Why both lies in the extreme end? Both lies in the extreme end because America is more inclined toward a capitalist economy and China is more inclined toward a communist or a socialist economy. So we will see what are the types of economy, how you classify them, on what condition you say that some economy is capitalist and some is socialist, why India is a mixed economy, or what are the features of mixed economy. Of India has changed from pre-1991 to post-1991. So once you understand this area, then we will go to measure growth. So when I am talking about growth, I'm sure when you will read your newspaper, you will see that in this quarter, India will grow by 7.6%, or then it will grow by 9%. There are different kind of figures that is given for the growth of India. So here we will study how growth is measured, why it is so important to measure growth, what are the methods that are available to measure growth, which growing at what rate, which sector is growing at a higher pace compared to the average growth rate, which sector is growing at a lower pace, what is the problem with different sectors. So how we will measure growth, what is the method that India follows, how it is compared to the method that is followed by rest of the world, what change recently CSO in 2015 has made some changes in measuring our growth. So we will see what are the recent changes that have been made. After that, we will see the topic of development and inclusive growth. So there we will see that why only is not the panacea for all the problems that a society or economy is facing. So then we will see what is the meaning of development, what is the meaning of inclusive growth, why development and inclusive growth are necessary, what is the prerequisite for development and inclusive growth, how to measure development and inclusive growth. There are different indexes, different ways to measure it. So here we will analyze all the different ways, and then we will see what is the shortcoming or what is the benefit of different measure. After that, we will study about Niti Aayog. Now the reason I see Niti Aayog, our syllabus will be very less. Earlier, planning is specifically written in your syllabus. So earlier we have to study about planning commission, then we used to study about all the plans that were made after independence. So what was the role of planning commission, what was the objective, how it was functioning, or what were the problem that it was facing. But recently with the new government, they has replaced the planning commission with the Niti Aayog. So I will give you brief idea about the planning commission, and then we will move to Niti. There is no such concept of 5-year plan or 20-year plan under Niti Aayog. So we will see what is the role of Niti Aayog, why it was necessary to replace Niti Aayog was with Planning Commission. With the arrival of Niti Aayog, can we do away with the planning, or still planning is necessary but it will be done in a different manner? What is the objective? What is the composition of Niti Aayog? Okay, so we'll look at specifically from prelims point of view. After this, we will take up some specific issues like unemployment. So what is the rate of unemployment in India? Economy measures unemployment, because what we consider as unemployment is different from what economists consider as unemployment. So we will see what is the specific way of measuring unemployment, how unemployment is measured, what are the different types of unemployment. After that, we will look at inflation. Here we will understand what is inflation, what is deflation, what is disinflation, what is the difference between three. Is inflation necessary or is it not necessary? What problems or what benefit comes with the how inflation is related to growth, or how inflation is related to employment. See, there are relation of inflation with growth and also inflation with unemployment. Then what are the different types of business cycle? In which cycle we expect inflation to be high and when do we expect inflation to be low? Why situation of Japan is so peculiar that it always faces deflation? So why there is situation of high inflation in India? What are the factors that causes inflation? How inflation can be tackled? Go into the banking system. Now, when we will go into banking system, we will see what is the role of bank in an economy. Why banks play a very important and crucial role in the economy. What were the financial crises that happened in world around 2008? What was the impact of those crises on India? How some of the recent changes has been made by our new governor, not new, he has came 2-3 years ago, but by the recent governor with regard to payment banks, with regard to small regard to domestic systematically important bank. So what are this category? What are the new kind of initiatives that he has taken to regulate the banking sector? How banks are regulated? What is the difference between a private bank, a nationalized bank? What is the difference between a private sector bank and a public sector bank? Why banks were nationalized? How banks are doing their job? And how banks boost credit and growth in the economy? Why regulation of bank is a very important aspect, or why it is such a why for the banking sector, what wrong can happen if banks are not regulated well, why there is cases of high NPA. I'm sure you guys must have been reading about the news about Vijay Mallya in newspaper, that he has defaulted on his loan. So here we will see that what is NPA, why NPA is arising, what government is doing, or what recent initiatives they have taken to curb NPA, how NPA affects other sectors. Once we are done with the banking sector, then we will go to RBI and monetary policy. In RBI and monetary policy, first we will look at RBI. What is RBI? Why it is a central bank? What are the functions that it perform? How it controls the banking regulation? And apart from banking regulation, it also plays the role of monetary policy authority. So we will see what is the role that it plays as a monetary policy authority. What is monetary policy? What are the recently in your budget 2016, a change has been made with regard to the monetary policy. So we will see what made in the monetary policy, what will be the impact of this change, why this change is necessary, and how interest rate is decided in the economy. Banks, if you go to banks, they take a different rate when they accept your deposit, and they give loan at a different rate. So what is the basis for this rate? How they determine their cost of funding? How RBI regulates the rate that is charged by the bank? Why rate is different on savings account, on fixed deposit, and on your loan? How rates determine banking rate, or how RBI increases or reduces the rate of interest in the economy. What is the rate of interest? What role it plays? Now, how interest rate is related to inflation? So what is the relation of interest rate and inflation? How one rate affects other? How one rates affects other, and what is the implication, or why interest rate is used to control inflation, whether it is an effective measure or it is a not effective measure. Then what interest rate, what is the implication of low interest rate that is prevailing in the developed countries. Now, once we are done with this, then we will come to fiscal policy. Basically, there are two very significant policies that govern any economy. The way democracy is governed by constitution, similarly, monetary policy and fiscal policy are two important policies that govern any economy. So here we will study about fiscal policy. When we will study about fiscal policy, then we will see what is the fiscal policy, types of fiscal policy that is followed, in which situation which kind of policy is followed, what is the implication of this fiscal policy on the economy. Now see, monetary policy is under RBI. So when I say it is under RBI, it is under the governor of RBI. But fiscal policy is not under RBI. Fiscal policy is under the government. So we will see, and RBI is not under the government. RBI is an autonomous body. So we will see how monetary policy and fiscal policy are decided to affect the economy. Then we will see what are the kind of taxation that are applicable in India. What is direct tax? What is indirect tax? How do you differentiate between them? Then recently government is trying to pass goods and service tax bill. So we will see what is goods and service tax bill, what is the implication of that bill, which taxes it is trying to reduce, and what will be the impact of goods and service bill on our economy, why it is necessary that GST should be passed, that is good and service point it will have. After that we will go into public finance. So when we will go into public finance, we will be studying about annual financial statement. So annual financial statement is nothing but your budget. So we will see how government gets the revenue and how governments make the expenditure. So from where does government revenue come, where does it spend that money, how it spends that money, who authorizes the government to spend that money. Apart from that, we will see the concept of deficit. What is fiscal deficit? Is deficit good or is deficit bad? How government borrows the money? Why government need to borrow the see types of deficit. In types of deficit, we will see there is capital deficit and revenue deficit. So which deficit is good, which deficit is not good, or does all the deficits are bad? So there we will do analysis of deficit. Once we are done with this, then we will go to the external sector. Now when we will go into exchange rate and external sector, then we will see what is the exchange rate of India, how exchange rate is determined, or on what basis exchange rate is determined between different countries, why $1 is equal to 60 rupees. So why dollar is expensive in comparison to Indian rupee. Okay, so what are the factors that makes your currency or that strength? What are the factors that weaks your currency? What is the impact of exchange rate on your trade? Okay, because when you are doing business, or when your economy is operating, Indian economy is no more a closed economy. So we buy goods from the rest of the world and we sell goods to the rest of the world. So what is the impact of exchange rate on our global trade? How our import and export is affected by this? So what is the balance of trade? What is balance of payment? How do we calculate our trade and how do we calculate our balance? Then how do we see that, or what is the amount of money that is going? How do we regulate that thing? Whether all the transactions are regulated or only some of the transactions are regulated. If some of the transactions are regulated, then what is the reason behind regulating of such kind of transaction? Then we will see what are the transactions that are taken under capital account and current account. Again, we will see what is the difference between capital and current account transaction. Why particular kind of transaction is regulated and why other is not regulated. How we have slowly opened up in different kind of transaction, like both were highly restricted, but now under current account there is 100% convertibility. So we will see what is convertibility, why capital account is still restricted. Then we will see some of the committee report that have recommended whether our capital account on current account should be, whether our convertibility should be more or convertibility should be less. So which have favored convertibility, which have not favored convertibility, what is their argument, what is their reason, and what is the implication of this convertibility on the economy. Apart from that, Asian financial crisis, East Asian, basically it's Southeast Asian crisis. So Southeast Asian crisis happened in 1997. So we will see what was the impact of this crisis, what factor led to this crisis, how it impacted India, why India was immune from this crisis, why India was immune from 2008 crisis. So what is the role that RBI is playing in order to make sure that India remain immune from the crisis. Still there will be some see those effects. Okay, so this is the broad overview of the subject that we are going to study. These were the broad idea about the chapters that we will cover while we will discuss about Indian economy. So not only your understanding and study wise, also it will help you a lot in order to increase your knowledge in the sense, now when you will read newspaper, you will always get confused when there will be talking about, say, Indradhanush mission or NPA or any committee report or payment, and there is any news on growth. So once you are done with economic classes, then it will be very easy for you to understand those areas. Okay, because you will get a clear-cut idea about what the newspaper or editorial is trying to say. Am I clear this far? Any doubt this far? No, no. See, I have, first of all, is this your first class for Indian economy? Is this your first class? Yeah. So don't worry. Right now, I have just discussed the topic. It does not matter whether you are coming from science background or you are coming from humanities background. I have even seen students coming from commerce background having problem. So you should not worry about your background at all. Okay. See, economy, I will just in the next area only I will discuss why we study economy. But for now, just understand economy is the one subject which is completely 100% based on your understanding. Only understanding. If you ever try to mug up anything in on that day, make it sure that you will not understand it. Okay, you can never mug up anything in economy, never mug up. And in my class I will never ask you to mug up any single thing. Okay, there may be some points or some committee report that you have to learn, but apart from that, economy is solely based on your understanding. Only understanding. You just have to do one thing: attend the class, listen to the concept and participate. It doesn't matter what is your background or to take economics from the basics. Okay, so when I'm telling I'm going to take it from the basics, it means I will take it from the level where I assume that none of you have ever read any books on economics. I do not assume that you have even read NCRT, and I don't want you to read NCRT also. Do not read it at this stage. Don't read any book, don't read any newspaper, or don't read any article related to economy. Don't read any textbook, whether it is a standard textbook, whether it is NCRT, whether it is any newspaper article, whether it is any, not read anything at all at this stage, because I am going to take it from that basics. Okay, so I will start from the very first level, or from the stage where first time someone is discussing economy with you. So be rest assured about that. If you are having problem at this stage, it is fine. Many people have, see, actually what happens is that economy is one subject where you have to, where there are concepts related to accounts, where there are concepts related to finance, to economics, where there are concepts related to polity, where there are concepts related to taxation laws. Okay, so because so many areas influence this subject, as a result it becomes difficult. So you should not worry about it at all. Doesn't matter whatever you have studied till date, Just wait for one class. Okay, let me take, after today's class, let me take one more class. Give me your response. I can assure you, you will never have that problem. And usually it has been seen that most of the students who are preparing for civil service, usually majority have science background. Okay, so be rest assured about that. After class, if you do not understand, then come and tell me. Before the class, don't have any such kind of notion regarding that you face difficulty in understanding economy. It is good that you face problem, because if you will not face problem, then why will you come to the class? And so it is good that you do not understand economy till now. Now, first thing is, why do we need to study economics, or why this subject of economics was introduced? Okay, there are three reasons why you have to study this. Had these three reasons would not have been prevalent in this world, then we would have been free from studying this one subject. First, resources are scarce. Resources have alternative use. Third thing is, funds are unlimited. See, I can assure you, no matter you are studying economy for the first time, but you have been using the concepts of economy throughout your life since childhood. Just look at these three conditions. First thing is, resources are scarce. Okay, that is, they are limited. Now, when I say resources, it means anything. Your material, money, human resource, natural resource, any resource. Resources are limited. Okay, there is a limit to which resources are available to you. Second thing is, resources have alternative use. Third thing is, human wants are unlimited. If any of the three conditions get violated, you will not have to study economics at all, or there is no need for studying economics. All the chapters in economics, all the concept in economics is related to this three condition. If is violated, or if any of the three condition is not existing in the society, you will never have to study economics in that society. Now, when I say resources are scarce, what do I mean? Just take for example, your salary is say rupees 12 lakh per annum. You are earning 12 lakh rupees per year, or 1 lakh rupees per month. So obviously there is a limit to which earn. Is there any business where you can earn unlimited, or you can earn as much as you want? Suppose today you wake up and you earn 1 lakh rupees in a day. Can you do that? You cannot do that, right? There is a limit to which you will get the resources. If you are a salaried employee, there is a limit on your salary. If you are doing business, there is a limit on how much profit you can make. When you were a child, there was a limit on how much pocket money was given to you by your parents. So you will always see that the resources that is available to you is limited. You do not have unlimited access to any resources at any point of time. Second thing is, they have alternative. 10 lakh rupees, what you can do? You can take house on loan, you can take car, or you can take a personal loan and make a trip to Europe. So there are three things that you can do. Either you can buy house, or you can buy car, or you can make a trip to Europe with this 12 lakh rupees. So as a result, this resource has alternative uses. Now, because this resource has alternative uses, and it becomes difficult for you to choose what you want. Now, when it becomes difficult, then you will sit and analyze whether I need house, whether I need car, whether I need trip to Europe. After that, third thing is, human wants are unlimited. Now, you are such a species who will neither satisfy with house only, or with car only, or with trip to Europe only. You want all three of them. See, this is the reason why we are studying economics. Your salary is limited to 12 lakh. Things. trip to Europe, car and house, and you want all three of them. You do not want only one, or your wants are not limited. You want all three of them. So as a result, what happens is that because of these three conditions, you have to make choices. Make choices in the sense, this year should I buy house, or this year should I buy car, or this year should I make a trip to Europe. Now when I say you have to make choices, you have to make decisions. Now when you have to make decisions, then in this making of decisions, you are guided by the theories that are available in the economics. Okay, so when you make this decision, then it becomes microeconomics. When individual unit, individual business, individual units are taking this decision, whether it is you as an individual or a company, say TCS, Infosys, or Reliance Industry, any company as an individual is taking this decision. Okay, because they have limited resources, they have alternative use to their resources. But when whole economy makes this decision, and when whole economy collectively decides that how we should use our limited resources which have alternative use, and the wants of the economy is unlimited, then it becomes macroeconomics. When you apply this micro and macroeconomics to a particular area or a particular location or a particular context, then it becomes economy. So here when you have to take decision, it becomes micro. When everybody like you is taking, means whole country is taking decision, then it becomes macro. When both of you are going to take decision, then we will see what is the implication of this decision on a particular area, then we call it economy. So here we will see how economics is going to be applied to a particular geographical area that is called India. All the theories will be applied to a particular geographical area called India. When these theories will be applied to a particular geographical area called India, then we will study a Indian economy. Now see, this was your independent decision. You have 12 lakh salary, house, car and trip to Europe and your wants. Now just think about the government. Okay, now what will be the situation with the government? Government is not going to think about buying house, car or making trip to Europe. What government will think is that whether should I make bread with these resources, or should I make gun? Should I make roads, or should I make schools? Should I make hospitals, or should I open insurance companies with this? Whether should I give food to people, or whether I should give job to these people with these resources, whether I should give skill to them, whether I should give housing to them, what should I do? Okay, so these are the kind of decisions that government have to take. See, ultimately resources, if the government gets the money, this is the government. Okay, government is at the top, it is ruling over, governing India. Okay, now this Indians will pay money to the government. Okay, now this Indians have limited resources. Like you, everybody's resource is limited. So when you will give this resource, you will give a share of this resource to the government, right? Government, when I say government, it does not mean that Narendra Modi and Arun Jaitley from their house or from their pocket. It is ultimately government is collecting money from those whom they are governing. So if your resources are limited, their resources will also be limited. The way your wants are unlimited, government want is also unlimited. The way your resources have alternative use, their resources also have alternative use. Now with their limited resources and with the alternative use, they have to take this decision whether they should give skill to people, whether they should make affordable houses for poor, whether they should give job to poor people, whether they should open insurance and banking companies, whether they should open hospital, whether they should make roads, whether they should make schools, whether they should make guns, whether they should make breads, whether they should introduce this bullet train in India, whether they should not introduce bullet train, whether they should produce defense equipment in India, whether they should build up more airports, ports, railways, or what they should do. So this is the kind of decision that government has to take with. So as a result, in order to take all this decision, in order to run the economy, we have to study all the concept. If this three condition would get violated at any point of time in the society, nobody will have to study this subject. Is it clear this far? Is it clear to you this far? Why do we need to study economics? Okay. Now, before going into the subject and before discussing specific chapters that are related to economics, what I will do is I will discuss basic concepts with you. For next 1 hour, I need to discuss some basic concepts. Now, why I need to discuss these basic concepts? Because these are something which will be used almost in all the chapters. So rather than telling you every time when I go to the chapter, I have collected some of the topics that are necessary to understand for anyone who want to proceed with studying economics or study Indian economy. So these basic concepts are taken from different area. They are taken from accounts, finance, economics and other areas. So I will discuss them one by one down and understand it. Okay, it is very necessary. You do not have to mug up anything, but please understand and proceed. If you, after explaining it, I will give you time to look at the topic and ask me if you have any doubt. In case you do not understand it, please ask me to repeat. I will repeat it, but don't go ahead without understanding the concept, because your syllabus is designed in such a way that slowly and slowly I will try to increase your understanding of the subject. Okay, so the sequence has been way that by the time you understand last chapter, it is necessary that before studying that last chapter, you study all 9 previous chapters. So if you will miss any class in between, please make sure you watch the recorded class and then come to the next class, because otherwise what will happen is any future classes is of advanced level. So if you do not understand previous classes, or if you have not gone through the previous classes, you will find it difficult to understand future classes. So in order to make sure that you do not face any problem, you do not miss any class. In case you miss, you go and watch the recorded class. Okay, if you will watch the recorded class, then it will help you to build the concept block wise, right? If you will not study it topic wise, or if you do not follow the pattern, then what will happen is, when you will come to this class, I will be discussing about an area which has already been taught in this class, and if you have not attended this class, here you will have doubts in your mind. So either you will ask me or you will keep continuing with, so don't do that. Now, first thing that we need to study in basic concept is law of demand and supply. Now, what does law of demand say? Law of demand says, if price of a commodity falls, quantity demanded increases. So if we have to write it equal to demand, okay, P 1 by Q. Don't worry about the mathematical equation. Don't worry about what I have written. Just listen to me now. See, basically what is happening, there are two categories of people who are operating in any economy. One is producer. When I will go to circular flow of income, then I will expand it and I will bring more people into the economy. Here, just understand, there are two kind of people. One is producer, one is consumer. Now, who is producer? Producer is someone who is producing goods. Who is consumer? Consumer is someone who is consuming goods. So, in this class, at this moment, who are you? All the students, are you producer or are you consumer? All the students, this is my question to all of you. all of you who are present in the class, so you are present in the capacity of a producer or consumer. Why consuming my teaching service? So who am I? I am the producer. I am the producer of Indian economic classes. So I am the producer of this service and you are the consumer of this service. So in an economy, for now, understand only two category of people are present. One is producer, one is consumer. Now this law of demand is from the point of view of consumer. Now what does this law says? It says if price of commodity falls. Because earlier one particular commodity was available for 100 rupees. If it falls, say it is available for 70 rupees. What will happen? At 100 rupees, say quantity demanded was 70. Now what it is saying, if price of a commodity falls, price is falling, quantity demanded will increase. You will start demanding more quantity. Now what it happens or why it happens so? When price was, so ultimately it means that you had 7,000 rupees in your pocket to spend. Now what I am doing is I am offering that same goods to you at 70 rupees. Again, pocket money in your pocket is still 7,000. So this time what you will think, oh, I already have 7,000 rupees, but the price has fallen. So let's do one thing. Let's buy more commodity. Just tell me from your personal experience, haven't you faced this kind of situation in your personal life? Any commodity which you like falls, you want to consume it more? Yes or no? See, this is not something which is related to economics. Please understand. This is something related to your behavior. You tell me from your personal experience, don't you feel that when the price will fall, you will buy more? Or when, suppose, if Apple is launching a new iPhone, then you will say, let's wait, when price will fall, then I will buy it. Okay? Because say my budget is 40,000, they are offering it for 60,000. So let's wait for 6 months. Okay, so what happens is whenever price will fall, quantity demanded will always increase. Okay, it will always increase. You will like to consume more of that commodity whose price is falling. See, I assume you have already studied the concept, that why you are coming upon this depends upon what the product is. See, if you will study economics, understand there are two things: assumptions and exceptions. I have already clarified to you, we are not going to study economics here. So if you are talking about what the product is, then obviously there are different products like gold, there are complementary and substitute product. There are some exceptions and assumptions that we will discuss, but only if it is necessary for the class. If it is not necessary for your understanding, if it is not necessary for from your learning, to take it. Otherwise, our Indian economy class will become economics class and it will not remain Indian economy class. So since you have learned the topic, please don't jump into future topics or into more detail earlier. Otherwise, what will happen? It will confuse other student. Okay? Even if you know more, please have patience and listen to what I am saying. Because our objective here is to study in such a way that we clear exam, we clear our prelims. Our objective is not to make, my objective is not to make, and please understand your exam is also for civil service. It is not for economic service. So you are not going to become an economist at the end of this exam or at the end of this course. So you should never try to get expertise in a particular subject. Okay? You should have an idea as a generalist. So you should have the general idea about what is happening into your economy. You do not need to go into the minute detail like an economist, because you will not become that. And I have already told in the introductory classes, if you will give too much subject, then end result will be such that other subjects will be neglected, and that will never help you to clear your exam. Okay? Please don't jump over topics, because it will confuse other students also, and there is no point in studying more than what is relevant for you, because there is no end to how much you can study in economics or history or any subject. You can do PhD, but neither it is the profession Neither I am here to make you historian, economist or a constitutional expert, nor here we are sitting in a college to discuss the matters and I am preparing you for a PhD. Okay, so we need to restrict ourselves till we get the general idea about the subject. Okay, now next thing that we will discuss is law of supply. Now when I'm talking about law of supply, you need to think from the point of view of consumer. Now what does law of supply says? Law of supply says that if price of a commodity increases, quantity supplied will increase. So price is directly proportional to quantity. If price will increase, quantity supplied will increase. Again, let's not go into mathematical expression and the literature that is written. Just look at my example. This is the price. Now, there is a particular supplier, producer, say Mr. A. He was selling it for 100 rupees per unit. He was selling it for 100 rupees per unit. Now when he was selling it for 100 rupees per unit, he was making profit of 20 rupees. Profit of 20 rupees. Now what happens is that at 100 rupees, he was supplying 70 quantity. At 100 rupees, he was ready to produce 70 quantities. Now what happens in the economy? Price increases. So price becomes 130. His cost is still same. Earlier he was buying it at 80. This was his cost and he was selling it at 100. And as a result, he was making profit of 20 rupees. Now what is happening is his cost is still 80, but he is able to sell the product at 130. So his profit will become 50. As a result, this person will become more greedy. And what he will think, if price has increased, let's increase the, he will like to sell more. Why he will like to sell more? Because his profit will increase. He will be able to get more money for his goods. So what he will do, he will start selling from 70 to 100. So because price has increased in this case, he will increase the quantity supplied. He will like to supply more goods in the economy. Why he will like to supply more goods in the economy? He will more goods in the economy because his profit will increase. Okay, he will see that yes, if I supply more, I will get more money. So this producer is working on this principle. Any producer will always work on this principle. If you want to increase the supply of a particular commodity in the economy, what you should do is you should increase the price. Now let's take a real life example from your point of view or from the civil service point of view. What government does is there is food. Now, through this Food Corporation of India, government want to distribute rice and wheat to below poverty line people. Now, obviously, government is not the producer of this rice and wheat. So, what does this government does? Through FCI, they distribute it. But from where does they procure? They procure it from farmers. Now, suppose government want 100 quintal of rice and 100 quintal of wheat. In situation, farmers are producing only 70 quintal of rice and 70 quintal of wheat. So what government will do? Government will increase the minimum support price. Minimum support price is the price below which price of goods will not fall. Usually what happens is if government declares minimum support price for a particular commodity, then what government says? Government says that no matter what is the market rate, I will buy this product at this. MSP is the price at which government is willing to buy your good. Okay, so either they will tell the particular quantity that they will buy, or they will buy unlimited quantity at this price. So whenever government want to increase production of any goods in the economy, what they will do is they will increase the price. How they will increase the price? They will fix minimum support price above market price. Okay, so if rice and wheat are sold at 10 rupees per kg in the market, what government will say, no matter what is the market price, come to me, I will buy it at 12 rupees. So now government needs to distribute 100 quintal of rice and wheat in the economy. From where this will wheat and rice come? It will come from farmers. But farmers are not willing to produce more than 70 quintal because they are not seeing any profit in it. Okay, they see that if they increase it from 70, they will not make any profit. So they will not increase. Now what government will do? Government will tell farmers, okay, I will do one thing, I will increase the price for the good that you are producing. So government will say, I will buy rice and wheat at a higher price. Now when government will increase the price, farmers' profit will increase. If their profit will increase, then they will be willing to sell more goods. As a result, what will happen is that instead of producing 70 quintal, they will produce 100 quintal. And this 100 quintal will fulfill the government objective. Is law of supply clear to you? What about Shweta? She has. First, tell me your name, otherwise, I will get confused. So, okay. No, is your name Shweta? Abhi, okay. What about other visitors? What is their name? I cannot see their name. Okay. So, two of them given their name. Is it clear this far? Okay.